Hi guys, it's Grace, and today we're gonna get really controversial. Here is another Bobbin Along video. If you guys haven't seen these videos before, I basically talk about a random topic that I want to talk about and sew an item of clothing. Today, I'm going to be making a bandana dress. So I've already put together all of the bandana pieces, and I'm basically going to do kind of a similar thing to what I did in my last one with my t-shirt blanket, where I will sew all of them together that way, just like down in a line, and then I'll put the two of them together. We're gonna figure it out. I will say that I did not come up with this idea. The one person that I've seen on Instagram who's really been like making these and selling them and all that kind of stuff is this user, Psychic Outlaw. She does some amazing work with both bandanas and with quilts. So if you are looking to have someone make one of these for you, I'm not sure, that person is the one that you should go to for any of those needs. They are really expensive. There are only a few drops every once in a while, so it's really hard to get them. And I just figured that it would be kind of cool and fun to see if I could make it on my own. But this is not my idea, and I just wanted to make that very clear before I get started on this. So today we're going to be talking about a kind of controversial topic, and I wanted to talk about it because I think it's important to open the discussion and have a conversation about it, and a lot of people have a lot of different opinions about it. We're talking about Sia's new movie, Music. So I'm gonna get started on this as we start talking about this, but I have really only watched the trailer for this movie, and I've seen a lot of people posting about their feelings on it, and I just wanted to kind of talk about it. You guys can talk about it in the comments, but I might have some slightly different opinions than a lot of people on this. I definitely think that the movie is similar to the movie Split, where it is not an accurate representation of autism or of multiple personality disorder or dissociative identity disorder as it is now known. That movie really makes me angry, and so in that context I can absolutely understand why people from the autism and neurodivergent community are really upset about this movie, especially in today's society. I also kind of watched part of a video from Paige Lale. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but she is on the autism spectrum, and she has a TikTok, and she's pretty well known on there, and she talks about this stuff a lot. Because I just wanted someone who is autistic's perspective before I talked about this, just so that I was aware of anything that I may not be aware of as a neurotypical person. So my first reaction to this movie was that I was hoping it was going to be good representation for autistic people, and then I saw that Maddie Ziegler was playing the lead role. Now, I have conflicting views about these kinds of things because as a person who is an actor, I struggle with knowing what the line is. Because if, I'm a gay person, and if you were to say that only gay people can play gay characters, I don't think that's necessarily true, because then you're not acting, you're just living out real life, and that's not the point of acting. Like, the point of acting is not to be cast in roles that you are able to relate to because you've had those life experiences. Like, we get cast in things that we don't have the same life experiences with, and our job is to be able to accurately study and research whatever those life experiences those people may have gone through in order to accurately represent our character as a whole. So I think that's the first problem, is that actors who do not accurately represent a mental illness, someone with a mental illness, someone who has a different ability, they haven't done their research properly. And this could be partially their fault and also partially the fault of whoever is writing the piece, whether it's a TV show or a musical or a play or a movie. It's not just the actor's fault, it's also on the creative team who has created this piece. All right, there's one down. I think the other issue lies in the fact that not only do these actors and people not get accurate representation of their mental illness or their different ability, but they also don't even get to play these characters that they are supposed to be representing and that go through the same things that they are supposed to be going through, or are supposed to be going through the things that they're going through, which is not an accurate representation. But they also don't even get to play any sort of character. And I think that is more of the issue, in my opinion. For example, a lot of trans people don't get to play themselves, quote unquote, but they also don't get to play the girl next door, or specifically trans women I'm thinking of, but trans men too. Like, I want to see trans men playing normal characters in everyday life. Why do they only have to play trans men in movies, in TV shows, and in films? Same thing with neurodivergent or autistic people. Why do they only have to play these characters? Why can't they be autistic if that's something that, you know, you have to include in the story depending on how they are as an actor and how they come across as an actor? But why can't they also be the main love interest or the funny best friend character or the mom in a show? Like, why do we only have to put people into this one narrow-minded character type? And that's, I think, the bigger issue, is that if autistic people as actors are allowed to be in the entertainment industry like people who are not autistic or not neurodivergent, who are neurotypical, are allowed to be, then yeah, maybe it would be a little bit less awful when an actor who is not autistic plays an autistic character. And I think that in that light, you would have enough people in the entertainment industry, whether it's actors or whether it's directors, producers, anything like that, who are not neurotypical or experience autism and actually know what it's really like to be on the autism spectrum, that you could do proper research and that it wouldn't come out as a mockery of the autistic community. And I think that's really the problem that people have, is that, yes, I think that when non-autistic people play autistic characters, they don't understand what it's like to be autistic. They don't understand how to portray that in a way that is genuine and is good. And obviously, you know, we can look at it, people who are neurotypical can look at it and say, yeah, like, that actor did a great job. I think they accurately represented what being autistic is like. But it's a spectrum, and you have no idea, frankly, what the fuck autism looks like or what it feels like. And I don't know what it looks like or what it feels like, but they do, and they can look at that and say, it's not accurate. I just think that we need more representation, and we need more people who are different being able to play whatever character they want to play. It worked. It's together. That's all I care about. I think that's really the root of the issue, though, because, and this is where my views, I think, are more controversial, and I struggle with what is the correct answer, because how far do we go before acting is not acting anymore? How far do we say, oh, you know, only a trans person can play a trans character? I worry that, you know, we're just getting too, as I said before, getting too close to just acting out real life. And we are so much more diverse as people than that, especially as actors. Like, we can do so much more than just what we know and we experience. And that's the whole part of acting. The whole thing of acting is to learn the human experience. And like, I played a character who was 40 years old. Obviously, I do not have the same life experience as a 40-year-old. I played someone who was Irish, so someone of a different cultural background, and I had to learn the culture. I played someone who literally killed her mother, like got so mad and so angry and so fed up with her life that she took her mother's life. And I have experienced none of those things. And I feel that I as accurate as I could, represented that character. So where do we draw the line, and where do we say, you know, this person doesn't have enough experience with this one topic that it's going to be offensive? I don't know. Which is why I think that the real issue is that there is not enough representation of these people, these certain categories, groups of people as a whole. And that's the real issue that we need to tackle. It's not actors who aren't trans playing trans characters. It's not actors who aren't gay playing gay characters. It's the fact that those people don't get characters that are the main character, that are important characters, that are romantically involved. Obviously, we're seeing a lot more gay representation, but we're still falling into the same stereotypes and tropes that have always existed surrounding it. So I think it's more of just seeing these people represented more realistic to real life in plays and movies and books and shows and all that kind of stuff. At least that's my opinion. If you disagree with me, please comment down below. The other thing that I am afraid of is that if we say that only, you know, trans people can play trans characters, I'm afraid that we will then fall into the trope of, oh, trans people who are actors can only play trans characters. And I also don't want to see that. I want to see people who are trans having roles that are not trans and have nothing to do with that. Obviously, it's very different when it comes to race. I think that characters who are supposed to be people of color should be people of color, and characters who are supposed to be of Asian descent or anything like that should be people who have that kind of heritage. It's also an appearance thing. Like, that's things that you can't change, or really shouldn't, because we should not be doing blackface or anything like that anymore when it comes to a character. Same thing with a bigger character or anything like that. Like, if it's written into the script, great, cast that person that way. But that doesn't mean that you only cast those people in roles like that. You should be casting people of color in the romantic interests. You should be casting gay people of color in stories about gay people of color. It's 2021. We need more widespread representation, and we need more variety in the entertainment industry, because our population is more diverse. So why are we seeing white people who are straight in literally, like, I have never understood this concept, because ultimately entertainment is supposed to reflect the society that's in it, and our society does not look like our entertainment industry. Really does not. We are starting to get there, and we still have a lot of work, and that's why I think that people are so upset about this movie, because they thought it was going to be this, you know, big representation thing and was going to open a lot of doors for accurate autism representation. And I know that originally Sia had a autistic, maybe nonverbal, I'm not entirely sure. I didn't do a lot of research on that, but I'm pretty sure that she had a actor cast in it that was autistic, and a lot of the scenes became too much for her. And I just think that Sia lost an opportunity to change how the entertainment industry works and change how the entertainment industry takes care of their actors. That's a big issue. We've seen a lot of abuse in Hollywood with creepy old fucking men, directors, forcing women into sex scenes, not telling them. Like The Shining, they didn't tell her what was going to happen, and that's her actual reaction, I believe, that one. And then there's like multiple other instances of directors just not telling their actresses what the fuck is going on in a scene and just letting it play out because, you know, it's a more realistic reaction to it. I think that whole thing is bullshit. So I think that that's the real issue, and I think that's why a lot of people take issue with this movie because of that. And I think that Sia is definitely in the wrong. I don't know if Maddie Ziegler is necessarily in the wrong. I go back and forth about actors accepting these kinds of roles because I, as a actor, understand that, you know, it is a very small industry. You can burn your bridges really quickly, and not accepting things sometimes can really be detrimental to your career. And I'm sure, I think what people have been saying is that she tried to say no, but Sia really pushed her to say yes because she wants her acting career to take off, and that she was younger, like 15 when they started filming, so it's not really under her control. Like, yes, it is, but she is a kid, so her parents are going to make the ultimate decision about what she's going to do. So I think that really we have to blame Sia for the whole situation. I also know that she was working with Autism Speaks, which is a known anti-autistic, really not great organization. So overall, I think that it just was not a good idea. The idea was not formulated well enough and not executed in the proper way for the movie to be successful and to accurately represent what it is like for autistic people. The other thing that I think about too is, you know, as I said before, what is our limit? Like, what is too far in relation to these people have to be accurately represented by people who know what they're talking about or people who have experienced it? And in the same way, it's like, okay, so then anyone who plays a Wiccan in a show needs to be Wiccan or needs to practice witchcraft. Anyone who plays a Christian character in a show needs to be Christian because then, you know, they know what they're talking about and that's accurate representation. And I just wonder, like, what point do we say that movies are not real life? I'm not saying that we shouldn't have accurate representation with accuracy of how things are, but I also think that it's a really slippery slope, right? We could say that about everything, and then it's like, okay, well, then we don't even have actors, we just have documentaries about life and about people, which is why I also struggle with, you know, I really didn't like Split as a movie. I don't think it accurately represents dissociative identity disorder. I think it really does a disservice, and it really makes me upset because it makes people who struggle with it into monsters, and it's really like it is a serious illness and it needs to be taken seriously, but it takes the compassion towards others and towards what others experience out of it. And I think that, again, really happens because there aren't accurate representations of what it's really like to have dissociative identity disorder. And therein is the real problem. I think if, obviously, like, horror movies are horror movies. We're gonna make thrillers about things. We're gonna make, you know, scary movies about stupid things, and it's not going to be an accurate representation of what real life is like, because it's not supposed to be an accurate representation of what real life is like. But I think, yeah, I think the big struggle is when there are no accurate representations of what it's accurately like, and you only have this, like, satirized, mocking version of this community to go off of, and that's all that people know and understand. I have one part of the skirt done, so it's just like a long connected bit. This is going to go at the bottom of it. So basically I'm going to do the same thing with my second row, and then I'm going to sew them together on this long side, and then we will sew up the ends so that it makes like one big loop. It's gonna look like a scarf almost, but I'm gonna do that off camera because I have been talking a lot and not sewing a lot, and I want to get this done. Hello, I'm back with a full skirt thing. Does not look like a skirt right now. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a gather stitch. I'm not sure how to do this on here. I'm going to have to look it up so that I can do the whole thing up here and then pull it tight so it'll like cinch the waist. But I might wait to do that. I think I'm going to wait to do that until I finish the top part. So I have to sew this bit together and sew one side and then sew the other side together to make like a little, like a tube. And then I'm going to sew these on like this on top. We're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna do that off camera though. Hi guys, I'm back. It's been a few hours, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. It's taken me a while to do all of this. Mostly the top is what has given me the most sadness and grief. I had to redo one sleeve so many times that I forgot, but this is what it looks like right now. I'm very excited. I think once I like get the shape down, I might take in the waist a little bit, depending on how it looks with the skirt. But this is the top. And then here's my skirt right now. It still looks like a tube or a scarf. I could literally wear it as like a headpiece, a shawl. Yeah, so I think I'm going to stop here for right now and go to bed because it is late. It's past 12 and I've been working on this for a while. I did have a phone call with my friend and then came back to working on this, but I'm very excited with how it's looking, and yeah, I'm excited to put it together. Kind of, not really. I'm a little worried about how it's gonna look, but I think the last thing that I'm going to do is, actually that's a lie. I'm not gonna do that. I was going to hem this, but I think I'm not even going to bother. Because if I'm gonna gather it later on, there's no point in me hemming it. And I'm just gonna use this side since this side is all even on the bottom, and that means that I don't have to hem it if I don't want to, which I don't really want to. So I'm not going to. So we are done. This is what she looks like so far. Hopefully she will look better tomorrow. Hello, my beautiful people. I'm gonna sit back here so you can kind of see me. So I stayed up really late last night working on this dress. Basically, I got to the point where I put it all together, but the torso is so long and I did not think about that. I really just wanted to like get it together. So this is what it looks like right now, and it's really, really long. So my plans are to basically flip it inside out again and to take this and like move it up, if that makes sense, and then cut it. Yeah. And then redo it. I'm gonna figure it out, but I'm gonna move the waist up and fix that bad boy so that I don't look like I have the longest torso in the world. But other than that, it's looking really, really cute. I also am debating whether or not to hem it. So whether to make it shorter because it is super long and I'm not really sure of the length that I want. But I think what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna fix the waist, and then also I'm thinking about cutting this part into some sort of like scoop neck or sweetheart neckline, just because I don't like the boxiness of it right now. So I'm thinking like a scoop, something like that. But I have to figure out how I'm going to do that. I'll probably just like cut this in half to the length that I want, and then cut a little bit closer and like fold it over, and yeah, we'll figure that out. But first I wanted to talk about a few things in relation to what I have been talking about previously in this video. So after I turned the camera off, I was continuing watching Paige's video, which I will link down below because it's just a great perspective on all of this stuff. And I think that her perspective is really important because she is an autistic person and she can kind of take a step back and show her perspective, show what it's like to be treated that way, to be represented in that way. And I also wanted to say something that I think is really important is that any representation is not good representation. So this goes for anything. I think we have this mindset in the entertainment industry and in the social media world that any exposure is good exposure, and that is absolutely not true. So I think that we just need to get out of our heads that any representation is good representation, and we need to have accurate representation of these mental illnesses or these disabilities in media. Like, it's ridiculous that at this point there are literally no accurate representations of what it is like to be an autistic person, what it is like to be living with dissociative identity disorder, what it's really like to be living with anxiety, anorexia, all this kind of stuff. I feel like we just buy into the tropes that we categorize these things into, and I don't think that that is the proper way to represent these things to our society. So I just wanted to make that point, and I think that also goes along with the fact that we need to have people who have experienced these things. So we need to have autistic people, we need to have people with dissociative identity disorder, people with anorexia, people with anxiety, all that kind of stuff, who have gone through it whether they are the actors that are playing these roles or not, they need to somehow be a part of the creative team in some way so that they can turn around and say, that's not an accurate representation of what my life is like and what people with this thing is like. Please do not represent us in that way. And I think that's the real issue, is that on no level is there any sort of representation, and especially with Sia's movie specifically, I think that personally, after watching Paige's video and hearing her talk about it, I think that it was all just kind of a thing for Sia to get Maddie a role, and it's not Maddie's fault. Like, Maddie was really young when it happened and was not happy with the role but was kind of forced into it. I just think that like she tried to hire an autistic actress, and when that actress was struggling and wasn't able to deal with the content, instead of changing the content because it wasn't accurate or changing the workplace in order for it to be a better situation for her and for her to feel more comfortable, she just fired the actress, which to me says that you're not about accurate representation. You're just about using this community that is so underrepresented to boost your movie and boost the person that you actually wanted to play this role. And I think that's where the issue lies as well. So I think those are the problems that we really have to address. And we also have to address the lack of representation in the acting industry as a whole, not even just in the entertainment part of it, but also in the acting industry, and allowing autistic, neurodivergent, trans people to actually have roles outside of just playing themselves. That's my tea. Obviously, I'm gonna continue working on this, but I just want to say this before I cut out. If you have any disagreeing opinions or things that you want to say, please comment them down below. I am always welcome to have a constructive and respectful conversation about these kinds of topics. Because if I am in the wrong here, obviously I'm not a person who is autistic or neurodivergent, but I am a psychology major, so I do know about these things and I know how they affect people. And I'm also an actor, so I also have the actor's perspective and the acting industry perspective as well. But if you do struggle with any of these things and you have a different opinion about this kind of stuff, please let me know, because as a young actor and someone who wants to be a choreographer and a director, I would love to change my opinion if I am wrong and work towards having a more inclusive acting and entertainment industry as a whole as I move forward with my career. So yeah, if you have any other thoughts about this, please leave them in the comments. Just be respectful to myself and to others as well. All right, I'm gonna figure this out and come back to you guys. And hopefully once I have some of those things figured out, once I fix the waistband and once I cut the front, I will try it on for you guys to see how it looks, and then I'll kind of figure out if I want to hem it, because that's really the easiest part of all of this. I don't hate it. I think it looks so cute. I definitely think that I am going to do like some snaps, because the issue is that my hips are too big and also my arms are too big, like my shoulders are too wide for me to get into the waist part, but it's like still a little bit loose at the waist. So I think I'm just going to put some snaps here and then it'll fit my waist better. But I don't hate it. I actually really like it. I think it looks super cute. I'm also debating whether or not to hem it, because I feel like if it was a little bit shorter, like, I don't know, like that length, I really don't know how I feel about it. I might like wear it like this, and then kind of see how I feel. I also am still wondering if I should get a lining for it, because I don't know if you can see through it. I don't know if I wear like white underwear, if that'll be fine and it'll be okay. Just like worried that you're gonna see me underneath. But I also might just get like a slip to put underneath it, and that might solve my problem as well. But yeah, I think it's really cute. I have snaps that I'll install real quick, and I think that's gonna be it. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe down below for more. Again, please leave in the comments if you have any other thoughts about this topic, and also yeah, if you want more information on how I did this. I kind of just winged it, so good luck. Yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. My previous video is on this side of the screen, and my previous vlog is on that side of the screen. I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!